Hello, this is Mark Serwotka, the General Secretary of PCS, sending this short video message to all PCS activists. Now, last week at our annual conference in Brighton, we debated the critical issues of our cost of living crisis and the threat to civil service jobs. And there was real unanimity at conference that we should now go forward determined to win the statutory ballot the conference has agreed we have to put pressure on the government. So firstly, I want to thank all of you activists in the workplaces and the branches for all the work you're doing for PCS. But I now want to urge every branch and every workplace where we have a rep to get ready for the ballot that is coming up later this year. Now at conference we agreed that we should move to statutory ballots around the questions of pay, pensions and the compensation scheme in September this year. That ballot is in pursuance of our 10% pay claim, a refund of the 2% a month pension contributions that members are overpaying, and a very clear commitment that there will be no cuts in the compensation scheme. What we agreed at conference is to ballot in September and to now start the process of the enormous amount of work that is required to ensure we don't just get a huge yes vote for action, but critically, we get over the 50% legal threshold. So today we've issued branch briefings to every branch and we're updating you now as to what we're asking branches to do in the period ahead. Now firstly, if we're going to win this ballot, we need to understand the amount of work that needs to be done. Every single employer group in PCS has been asked to meet in the few weeks ahead in order to start discussing the plan to ensure we get over the 50% threshold in your group. What we're asking you to do as branch and workplace reps is this. Firstly, it's to start discussing who's going to take responsibility in your office or in your branch to take a lead in the campaign. Who's going to take responsibility for organising the members' meetings that we want to take place, where we're asking you to have members' meetings and get members to agree why we're moving forward and to endorse the strategy. Secondly, we need to ensure we're in a position to win the ballot itself. So we're urging you to look out for all our communications on our website and social media channels and on PCS Digital. So if you haven't registered for PCS Digital, please do that now. It's an essential way in which we'll communicate with you, and it's where you'll find the most up-to-date information. The third thing we're asking, and in some ways probably the most important, is to now think about how in your workplace and your branch you're going to ensure we've got up-to-date contact details for all of your members. A postal ballot would be more difficult to organise for than the recent email consultative ballot. It's essential, therefore, that we have everybody's up-to-date ballot address. We know the ballot is likely to be tight, so every vote matters. So you should now be planning to work out how you're going to contact all of your members and get them to check that the details we hold for them are correct. If we do this work now, and we also start discussing how we're going to get non-members to join in your workplace and in your branch, and how we're going to get members invigorated, we can be confident that we can win the ballots in September and put pressure on the government. And if ever there's a day to reinforce this message, it is today. All civil service members today received an email from Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister. In that email, he had the audacity to thank members for what they've done, keeping this country going during the pandemic, but then tell them 1 in 5 jobs has to go. This is bad enough at any time, but at a time of a cost of living crisis, and at a time the government wants to cut redundancy terms by 33%, it is devastating. And that is why also our conference agreed to a campaign to defend jobs, not just to stop the 90,000 cuts, but to fight for the extra resources we need to deliver frontline services. So there you have it. The Prime Minister confirming today he's going to cut 1 in 5 jobs. The government confirming they're expecting members to have a historic cut in their living standards this year. RPI inflation is now 11%. The pay offers we're likely to receive will be 2%. So whether it's pay, whether it's the robbery of your pension, the threat to your redundancy scheme, or indeed the 1 in 5 jobs that are going to go, there's never been a more important time for us to unite in the union, for all of us to pull in the same direction, to do that detailed organising work now, updating records, recruiting non-members. If we do all of that, we can be confident we can win the ballot in September and then win our justifiable aims. Thanks for listening. Look out for all our communications in the weeks ahead, and I do hope to meet many of you at the TUC March in London later on in June. Thanks very much.